And Goldberg asks, hey Luffy, why'd you end up going to the underworld? Did you fall or anything? And you should see the look on Luffy's face. It's like he freaking shitted his pants or somebody stole food from the way that his face changed. Welcome back, Oda. It feels like it's been forever. We appreciate each and every time that you drop a chapter and you dropped a banger. This is chapter 1132 and we officially made it to Elbaph after I believe it's either 25 or 27 years. Such a refreshing chapter to return to. The chapter starts off with the little giant boy. His name is Colin. He was the individual that was talking to Shanks right before Kid's attack. It's really cool seeing him and how he's probably going to have a close relationship to Luffy, especially with how much he looks up to pirates. And you could also argue that he parallels a young Luffy with his relationship to Shanks and wanting to go to sea with him. And I wonder if whenever he talks to Luffy, interacts with him, if he's going to shift wanting to join Luffy's crew instead. I also love the fact that Shanks, he talks about remember Straw Hat Luffy's name, just showcasing how close they are and that Luffy and Shanks are on the same pedestal in terms of how they rank amongst pirates. Colin is so excited. He gets the food and he's like, oh, I'm going up to the sun room because apparently Dory and Broggy, they aren't stopping at the bar. We all see Haruden. He is headed up a rainbow, which I find pretty funny because if you guys don't know the science behind it, I'm not a scientist, but rainbows essentially, I'm pretty sure they're a refraction of light, and specifically they appear after rain because it had something to do with the moisture and water, etc. I find it funny how Dory and Broggy, they're like, oh, we use this technology, we can make rainbows all the time. And obviously Frankie, Robin, and the others, because this is probably the smarter group that is with these giants, they're like, I don't think we can climb up the rainbows. Like, how is it possible? And Dory and Broggy just give us a dumbass look like, oh yeah, you could just climb up rainbows all the time. It's just, that was such a One Piece scene and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a really beautiful scene. Honestly, if you guys have played Mario Kart, this reminds me so much of Rainbow Road. I guess if it was more peaceful. I don't know about you guys. Rainbow Road is one of the more difficult tracks for me. I play on 150, 200cc, so I fly off all the time, and my friends, we like to bump each other and like get in each other's way. Rainbow Road definitely is not as peaceful as this version, but seeing them, you know, get all excited, talk about how, you know, Luffy, he's gonna knock his socks off when they notice that you can go up a rainbow like this. Just seeing Robin associated with Bonnie, love seeing the motherly instincts come in. Typically that's more reserved for Nami. Her role, we've seen it all the time with the kids at Punk Hazard, but definitely with Otama, or is it Otoko or I think Otoko during Wano, how Robin was associated with her and looked after her, cared for her. So seeing Robin in this motherly like role is pretty cool. Haruden also catches up on Rainbow Road. He talks about wanting to see Luffy and how they're going to have this grand celebration, which is where the transition goes and we finally see Luffy. He ends up running into Jerd and Goldberg, and I love seeing this interaction with Jerd, a complete 180 with Road, how he was obsessed with tiny humans because he sees them as an inferior species compared to her. She loves them because they're just so tiny, so cute and adorable. Reminds me of when Shirahoshi first met Luffy, how she was playing with his cheeks, thought that Luffy was such a cute individual. Just love seeing that she has just such a bubbly, nice personality. Just such a cool thing to see. They mention later in the chapter of the different realms that Elbaph has, that there are 3 of them, and Goldberg asks, hey Luffy, why'd you end up going to the underworld? Did you fall or anything? And you should see the look on Luffy's face. It's like he freaking shitted his pants or somebody stole food from the way that his face changed, because Loki said, hey, let's make this deal, you know, a secret, don't tell anyone that you're here, that you saw me. It had Luffy sweating in cold weather. So this makes me wonder if Luffy's eventually going to go down there and free Loki. At the same time, they're going to have a banquet, so I wonder if Luffy's gonna ask or if Loki's name is gonna be brought up, and if Luffy isn't the one that frees him, will somebody else do it? But if you guys have made it this far into the video and you're enjoying the content, let me know by leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. I pump out different One Piece content almost each and every day. We transitioned to Zoro's group, how they were getting chased around by Road, and all of a sudden when he's about to go and try to claim the little humans again, Zoro and Sanji trap him under a tree. I love this interaction because Usopp's like, why do y'all always overdo stuff like this? Can't we just have a peaceful interaction? And then Jerd and Goldberg, they come in, Road thinking, hey, my crew's here, they're going to save me, and they certainly didn't whack him aside the head because they think he's a weirdo as well. So Zoro, he's like, hey, you know, the evidence has gone away, we got off scot-free, nobody's gonna know that we laid this trap for him. Just such comedic aspects in One Piece, specifically this arc. This is probably so far one of the funniest arcs that we've had in a long time. Definitely give me a lot of pre-time skip vibes. You could tell that Jerd and Sanji were going to be a match made in heaven, specifically because she likes little humans, Sanji likes women. Of course, she's beautiful, so Sanji, he's here for any time that she's going to talk to them. She even picks him up, and Sanji, I'm actually surprised. I mean, I guess to be fair, during the Fishman Island, it was because, you know, had all them nosebleeds since he was deprived of women from so long and he was with all the people at Kimabaka Kingdom. And so now Jerd's picking him up, like hugging him, right? Sanji, he's a giant heaven, I ain't gonna lie. And Sanji, he's definitely a tree climber because Jerd, that woman is tall, and guess what? I ain't blaming her. I'd do the same thing if I was in his shoes. This is also where we get the confirmation of different levels. So there is heaven, there's sun, and there is the dead, and the dead is where Loki is currently at, or so-called the underworld. The sun is where they're headed to, and then above the sun is heaven. Not sure what that is so far. Maybe that has something to do with Ohar's research. Not exactly sure. We'll probably find that out in the coming chapters. We see Elbaph in the village. It is definitely beautiful. It's like what we saw when Road, you know, his little world just on steroids, just so beautiful. On Twitter, I've seen different people like have colored images of it, and oh my gosh, I cannot wait to see this animated. You see the different giants walking around the city. They look like normal humans, so that means that Luffy and the Straw Hats and other pirates that are normal size, they're going to look like ants. And so I love how Oda has depicted scale so far in this arc, and seeing Luffy and Usopp, you know, Usopp crying because of how much that they've been wanting to go to this island ever since we could ever remember, since the beginning of the series when they were at Little Garden. Like I said, just so many reactions, seeing the Straw Hats, how everyone's excited. I will say Sanji and Lilith, they look almost identical, like their siblings. You also see Usopp, Luffy, and Chopper. They have these reactions just seeing how they're riding on top of a rainbow. And I believe Jinbei, as I mentioned earlier, he talked about Luffy, it would knock his socks off. Oh yeah, they're definitely surprised by this. The chapter ends where we get a narrator's monologue talking about how, hey, Elbaph, it's really cool, it's vast, and so many people look forward to exploring this. However, the ending says do not linger there for long, Luis Arna. And I'm pretty sure that this was the same saying or the introduction that we got during Little Garden, and how they're like, hey, this island is dangerous or something along those lines. I'm going to have to look back and definitely do an analysis on it, and you guys will see it in my breakdown that will release on Tuesday, as well as the individual who was sitting with Crocus. At first I thought that person was going to be Rogue. Not necessarily exactly that, but a lot of people assumed that Rogue was the one that said that, hey, we're waiting for you, or come to this island. I believe at the end of Egghead. So a lot of people assumed it was him, but looking here, it's someone that this could still be that silhouette of that person. And so they look like the size of a normal human. So a lot of people have been saying Shiki, Scopper Gaban, etc. Really, really good way of introducing introducing us to the Elbaph arc so far. I know a lot of people were complaining about how it was delayed a little bit with the whole Road thing. I think that's fine. I think it sets up a lot of stuff for how Road is going to have an important role and have a connection to the Straw Hats, as well as just look at little humans in a different light. Seeing so many different giants, I cannot wait for this arc to take off, and it's definitely going to take Oda like 3 or 4 years. I'd say like Wano at the minimum for this arc to conclude. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know how you guys feel about this chapter in the comment section below. There's not supposed to be a break next week, so I'm really happy about that. Hopefully Oda, he's feeling better and he's not pushing himself just because he missed a couple weeks. I definitely don't want that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. It's on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.